if you look above me at these absolutely beautifully clear blue skies, you might just be thinking to yourself, what an absolutely gorgeous day it is to be out and about in the garden. But as a gardener, when I woke up to this morning, yes, I thought it was beautiful, but yes, I also knew that there had been a hard frost. Not for the first night, we've had one for about 3 nights running now. With a hard frost in my part of the UK, it can very often mean in the garden death and destruction. So I've seen a few plants that I'm not too happy about, which I'll show you in a minute, but we're just going to take a closer look and see if all is lost. I must admit, the first thing I saw when I came up the plot, and my heart just sank, were my dahlias, my poor dahlias. You know how much I love them, but they'd only just started to flower, and part of me thought, well, if they flowered late, they would carry on flowering till late. They would still flower for that same amount of time, but obviously that's not the case, because look at that poor specimen of a thing. Look, they're all the same. So whereas I thought, that's it, they've had it, I actually think I might be able to get away with leaving them in. If the ground itself was really, really frozen, which you probably can't see, but it's not, it's fine, it's covered in that much stuff, it's absolutely fine, then yeah, I'd be a little bit worried. But the fact is, we've had 2 or 3 nights of this, I'm saying, hard frost. Probably not in some parts of the world, but for us it's been -4, -5, but it's gonna warm up a little bit over the next week or so. So what I'm going to do, which is going back to my original plan of leaving them in, is I'm going to cut them back to maybe 2 or 3 inches just above the ground, and then I'll go with plan 1, which was to just give them a really, really good mulch. So what I'll do today, I'll get them cut down, and then at least I'll feel like, yeah, I'm being a bit proactive and fighting a little bit back against the frost. So right, hold on, let me go and get my secateurs. Okay, here they come again. My favourite secateurs. I've got to say, I know we've all said it, haven't we? They're just brilliant. Great little Christmas present, by the way. I will put a link below. But these have just done so many of these garden jobs for me this year. Saying that, I missed the stalk. Right, there's one. Another one. Let's see, where does that go? You see it's lying down, isn't it? Yeah. Something I am really sorry, keep the thing. So, oh, I've got to stay you straight again now. Okay, you straight. Okay. Something yeah, I am really, really pleased about though, and it's a really good job to have got done, is this year we actually dug some really good bean trenches on either side. And when I say really good, you know, I practice mainly no dig, but you also know that I am not a slave to it, and I will work with what works for me and what works for the garden. And in this case, what didn't work for me this year was no dig with the beans, because it was such a dry, hot summer that I was terrible with the watering. I'll come back onto the watering in a minute. That I realised, hello again. Hello, sir. Come on, here, come in. Yeah, this little fella had a little part in it, didn't you? We decided to dig a couple of bean trenches, just where they always are, but instead of filling them with, I don't know, with well-rotted manure or anything like that, we were able to actually fill them with a huge amount of dead and dying apples and leaves that we collected from the top end of the plot, because with all those trees there's just no end, and it seemed a shame to just not use them in some constructive way. The other thing that we used as well was the chicken bedding, which I've mentioned before, which has just rotted down absolutely beautifully. I'll pop a little clip in here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is, if you can hear me over those crows, the rotted down chicken bedding that I was talking about last time. It's miscanthus grass with chicken poo, and it's rotted down. We always put the bedding in this side of the compost with, again, other bits of greens, bits and pieces, but just look at that. How good is that? You'd be really pleased if you bought that from the shop. So this is going to be, whoa, you can see, it would be strong. There we are, something's rooted in there quite nicely, but there's the grass. But yeah, this is going to go in the bean trench, and hopefully it'll do a better job of nourishing them and keeping them really well watered. But the soil that we've actually topped the trenches with has just literally been scraped up. Hasn't it, Junior? Oh, she's got one. She's got a worm. She's just been scraped up off the paths. And when you think this, I don't want to pick it. Oh, should I pick it up? Ah, here we go. That was wood chip or bark or whatever you like to call it. And there's a little robin now just under the camera. I wonder if it'll come near because Junior's here. They usually flock around each other quite well, actually. Anyway, look, so that is what your wood chip or your bark will rot down into. Perfect. Even if it's full of weeds, get it on your soil, reuse it. The problem is, after a few years, if you just keep putting wood chip over the top, obviously it's going to rot down. So use your paths, especially if you've had to pay for your blooming wood chip. You know, you may as well make the most of it. So yeah, fingers crossed, next year, we won't be able to get rid of the bees. I'll be cursing them. What do you think, Junior? Let me show you where else the chickens have lent a hand, and I'll show you the rest of the death. Okay, one thing the cold weather has really encouraged me to do is go somewhere warm, which in this case has been in the polytunnel. I'll say that, it's not been that warm. It's been minus 4.5, but at the moment it's 46.9 centigrade Celsius. It's warmish. It's certainly warmer in here than it is out there. So yeah, it encouraged me to do a job I have been putting off for a long time, and that is just clear out the polytunnel. So tomatoes are now out. The Vajayga beds are out, so that is all ready. I've left the strings for the tomatoes. These are the polycord strings. This polycord this year has been really, really useful. So rather than take it all down, wrap it up and then put it all up again next year, because that is one of the jobs I absolutely just don't like at all, is putting all the strings up. I'm leaving them up. And yeah, now it just needs a bit of a scratching round. Again, the chickens were helping yesterday. But yeah, so what I need to do now, and this, I mean, why aren't you doing it now, Jane, while you're talking? Yes, you should be. Going round and picking up, they're not for you, picking up the labels and trying to pick up as many of the tomatoes that have dropped off as possible, because you will know it's quite annoying that in the spring, when you're desperately trying to get your tomatoes to germinate, a couple of weeks after you start to put them out, you get so many self-sown volunteers in the garden. So yeah, I don't want this many. Look at this. Look at this. Let me show you. Look. Ow. tomato seedling. What's that doing? What's that doing? That's probably, I don't know, a few weeks old. Sorry, tomato seedling, I'm not keeping you. Yeah, let me know. The issue that I've had this year, and I'm telling you all about my issues, is that, again, it was warm, it was dry. I did not keep on top of watering not only the beans, but I probably watered the polytunnel the same amount as I usually would, but because it was so warm and dry, it needed that much more. And I needed to do it that much more, and I didn't. So, hands up, I probably was responsible for not doing as well as I could have done. So I'm looking at getting some sort of irrigation system in here. I've had a soaker hose in before, but without any sort of pump or timer, it didn't really, again, it wasn't as effective as it could have been. So Mike's now using that in his. He's got it working in his, of course. And yeah, I need to look at some sort of reliable way, maybe some sort of irrigation system. I don't know, but this is something to dream about over winter and hopefully have in place next spring, which actually will creep upon us before we know it. So yeah, so anyway, I was really pleased with the polytunnel. That is the end result. There was no blight in here, and so this will just be going straight onto the compost bin. Or in fact, it could even be used as a mulch. I might actually mulch my dahlias with it. What do you think? Would you do that? Would you risk that? Okay, let me know. Okay, death. I think the banana palm has had its day. We were talking about this on Potty Mouth on Monday night. If you haven't been along, I'll put the link to Potty Mouth below. But we were talking about the fact that, you know, sometimes you can wrap them up and keep them going over the winter, and Danny from Grow Up was saying that's what he does because his is still quite young, and I was saying how we just leave ours to die down every winter, and it always seems to come back. And what it does is it actually, I don't know if you can see from there, there's actually several different plants there, and they are the pups, because I think the main plant probably died back a couple of years ago. But what it will do, I mean, plants are brilliant, aren't they? It's all about survival. They will send out pups to carry on the family name. I've just seen a huge leaf there. Can you see that one? That looks like it's about to burst open. But yes, Danny was also saying about the fact that a friend of his uses the banana leaves to wrap, I'm trying to think what sort of meat, but he used them as like a wrapper for food, and just, yeah, so your food steams inside the banana leaf. And I've seen it done with cabbage leaves before, and other sorts of leaves, but I'd never thought about doing it with a banana leaf because I'm quite keen on trying that out. But to be honest, I think this year, I think that train has left the station. So yeah. Sleep well, banana palm, and hopefully we'll see you next year. But what I was more concerned about is what's in this bed here. Because in here, I have got the ochre and the mashua, which I was showing you last time. I was talking about how beautiful the mashua flowers were, and also just how gorgeous the ochre leaves. I mean, that's a week ago. It just shows how quickly things can change. So I've looked up, because I've never grown ochre before. I mean, look, it's just mush. It's just mush. I've never grown it before. I don't know when to harvest it, but clearly something needed to be done at this stage. So I've looked it up, and it basically says, as far as ochre goes, and mashua, they're tubers, so they grow like potatoes. So not to worry if the foliage gets hit by frost, because it will die down naturally anyway. As long as your tubers are covered, they should be okay. And also it says, as far as the ochre's concerned, once you've had your first frost and your leaves have died back, if you can wait, leave it for at least a week to fatten up a bit, because even though these look absolutely horrendous, the goodness, apparently whatever goodness is left in these, is now going back into the tubers. So I'll go and get my hurry and we'll just have a look at what lies beneath and see, yeah, if there is actually any life in this bed, which looks very unlikely at the moment. Right, I'm just going to go in. I don't know how deep they grow. I don't know how big they grow. Claire, if you're watching this, I can only apologise. Claire from the Farmyard Garden, I am just going to give it a pull. Now that's what you don't want to do, but I've done it. Okay, okay. Right then, I have... Should we say that's one plant? I think what I've done there is probably made a bit of a mess of it. I tell you, it's all new to me, but you can see, we have not just one little locker, but you know what? It doesn't look a lot for all that foliage, and it probably isn't, because I did snap it. It's probably all under the ground. What shall I do with that? Mulch. Look. Oh, look. Here we go. Now, this is what it said about if you do them after the first frost, be patient, it said, because they will grow a lot more. And I think, yeah, I need to take that on board, don't I? Because let's face it, these are just right for the burrowers. Actually, there's quite a lot. Oh my goodness, there are quite a few under there. Do I take them? Do I leave them? I'm taking that one because he's a bit bigger. Look, it looks a bit wrong, doesn't it? I've got this huge trunk and a little locker harvest. It might only be little, but it's very, very welcome, and it's a sign of things to come. Let me just show you what I've got behind me. Because here I have got the dwarf artichokes. Now, I dug a plant up just because, again, I'm impatient to see what's there, about a week ago. And not only was I really impressed with the size of them, but their colour is beautiful. I was expecting a potato colour. Are Jerusalem artichokes normally a potatoey colour? I don't know. But, yeah, because these are dwarf, they're a little bit different. Oh, look, you see, wherever you get dead foliage, you get a little ladybird. Let's hope that's not dead. Little ladybird there, look. Are you dead? I hope you're not dead. I'll put you in the mashua. There we go. Yes, but as I was saying before about things sweetening, artichokes do have a bit of a... Sorry, I'm tangled up here. Artichokes do have a little bit of a reputation as being a little bit antisocial, shall we say. But I haven't actually tried them yet. I haven't tried the ones that we dug up the other day. But yes, apparently the longer you leave them in the soil, the longer you let them get frosted, the not only do they become more delicious, but the undesired effect is limited. So what I'm going to do is shut up and just show you, hello, is just show you what, oh hey, you know what, I might have to go and get the fork. And that is not frozen ground, that is, well, there we go, Jane, who needs a fork when you've got hands? Look at this, look, Junior, look at these colours. I mean, again, they are just, that ground is starting to freeze, you know. Frozen on the top there. But those colours are just beautiful. And that's something I really... Come on, come on then. Come on, you can come in. Come on. Good girl. The colours are, yeah, they are just an absolute bonus. What do you think? Have a little peck. What do you think of the artichokes, Junior? Peck of the artichokes, maybe? Fooled into thinking they're worms? No? You're not that chicken. Hello? I've got nothing for you. There was a ladybird, but I've saved her, I hope. Yeah, aren't they gorgeous though? So, hold on, I need the Prinabo again. I'm going to, if I just break one off, just show you. I don't know, you probably can't see now because the sun's going down as we speak, the temperature is dropping, but that is quite a pretty tuber. So they are going to go into the truck along with the, I'm not going to say pitiful, the, what do you think? No, that's my ocker. That's my ocker. If you're going to have anything, have an artichoke. But you can see as well how if you plant artichokes, they're actually quite brittle. So you can see how they get left in the soil as you're pulling them up. Because even if you only leave a tiny, tiny bit, can you see that while I'm doing that? Yeah, they will reproduce. And that's why really you should leave a bed just for them. Now, in my last video, I did say I was going to use this bed for the elephant garlic, but I think now I've seen what these are like. It's just going to be a dedicated dwarf artichoke bed. So there we go. Who'd have thought under all those rotten leaves, Junior, we'd actually have a little harvest of something that we might not like, but on the other side, we might. Okay? Mulch. No, I better not with that, had I? Because I just said, look, tiny little tuber on there. If I'm going to mulch anything, it's got to be the same bed. Okay, there we go. Okay, before I go home with my truck of little things, don't turn off, because I've got a really, really important question for you. Can you see that? Look, that's something, isn't it? Let me know what you think. Let me know what's survived in your garden so far. But I have got a video coming up. It might be next week, it might be the week after. And I've already asked people to let me know what their favourite gardening books are. But in addition to that, I would like to know, as gardeners, what your favourite garden gift has either been or what you would like to receive for Christmas, because I'm hoping to put together a video of just so many different ideas that people can think about to give to get to the gardeners in their life, and it might just give you an idea for something for yourself as well. So let me know in the comments below what your favourite book is, what book you would like to receive, your favourite gardening gift. It might be something that you received 20 years ago and it's still going strong, either one that you would like to receive yourself or one that you think has been well received by someone else, and pop them in the comments below. But for now, my little fingers are turning blue. So I'm going to say goodbye and see you again soon. Bye for now.